Hi, thank you for joining me again this evening on Cooking with Dan Leslie. My name is Janet Rapapsorti-Hoff. I'll be your host this evening. And Dan, take it away.
Hey Janet, how you doing?
Hi.
Hi Greg. Coming into the holiday season, are we?
Yes, yes.
You're looking very
Holiday,
festive
very
here.
festive, very
I'm not
festive.
looking too festive here, but one of us can at least represent the holiday season. No, Thanksgiving's here. So what are we going to do here? I was going to make an hors d'oeuvre, something you could put out over the holidays if you're having a few people over your hous or something maybe prior to Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. That's just a little bit different. It's a combination of vegetables, both hors d'oeuvres that we were going to do. We were going to do what they call a caponata. That was an eggplant and celery and a combination of different things. It was a little melange of stuff that we were going to saute off, reduce it down, and it gets kind of a pasty consistency, yet and it's all softened up, the celery and the eggplant and the tomatoes and that. And you can, we were going to make some of these garlic croutons with this French bread. Nice. Which is really the key to the mint here. If you could ever do this sort of thing, you pay a lot of money for crackers when you go out. Pay a lot of money for these bagel crisps that all of a sudden you open the bag and there's sawdust in the bottom. You know, it's very, so they take the milk at the checkout counter and they just drop it in on there and they're all, and some of these crisps that you get, you can almost break your teeth on them. But the ones we're going to do here today, I'll tell you, if you have the time and energy to, it doesn't take that long, but they just really create a wonderful little wafer to spread some of this, either this bruschetta, there's another item that we're going to make today, or a chopped, that's a tomato bruschetta. You can do a wild mushroom bruschetta, or this caponata. You can place this out on a table, and it's a vegetable function prior to the meal. That's a little bit different. And I'm going to, in fact, I'm bringing this over to my mother-in-law's tomorrow for Thanksgiving. I figured I had to do something. I just didn't want to sit over there anymore and have my sister-in-law's famous cream cheese and celery. Or she also has one she does also with peanut butter in it too. And I'm telling you, it was a real hot item last year. But I told her, hold off on that. I'll work something up. I told her. She won't be insulted, I'm sure. But. But either way, this is real nice. We'll get it going, I guess. What I'm going to do is parboil the tomatoes just to help get the skin off them. And from there, we'll get the bruschetta, the caponata working, and we'll try a little of that garlic toast at the same time. Okay, so let's get it moving here. I've got some boiling water. We're going to make a kind of a tomato concasse, in that we're going to take the skin off of the tomatoes here. And we're going to take the seeds out. I'm going to score them a little bit with a knife just to help the skin get off there a little more easy. Get it right down there. And you only leave this in the water, into the boiling water, about 30 seconds. You just want the water to kind of separate the skin from the pulp. And this way you can get it off a little easier. Yeah, I'm only kidding. My sister-in-law didn't bring the old cream cheese and celery. Actually, she's a very good cook. But I figure I'd give her a hard time anyway. But it is incredible, some of the things that show up, oh my God, where did you get the cookies? Not that you were expecting, some supercalifragilistic things, but geez, I'm telling you, people are crazy.
But it's no matter what you put out. I mean, you could have, 50 different items. Someone's going to say, hey, where's the whatever?
Oh, of course, right. I thought you were going to make you famous, next time. So we've got these tomatoes moving in there, and I guess even while they're in there, I could start working on the celery. Now, this caponata, by the way, some purist out there is going to probably call me up and tell me I'm out of my mind. So I got this recipe from the back of one of these little teeny yellow cans, quite frankly, and I'm just trying to find my way along by using this little tomato can recipe. So we're going to work this out. Like for instance, I tried it one time, and I put the eggplant in very, very early, and I wanted to get this celery softened up that it could be something you could put on a cracker,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And by the time I did that, the eggplant just blended right into the dish. It was gone. So we're going to try it this way. I've been doing it where the eggplant goes in a little bit later, so it gets very soft itself, yet there's some eggplant sitting there,
Not much.
Right. All right. I think we've left these tomatoes in long enough, and there's my little strainer. So what we're going to do here is just, I've got a little oil I'm going to place in the pan, and I'm going to try to get these, going to work these onions and celery. Try to just sweat them out a little bit. In fact, before I forget, I'll turn this flame down right now. We don't want to just brown this stuff. We just want to sear it up a little bit. There's one bad piece. We don't want that one, do we? All right, we've got the celery and onion ready to go in the pan. Okay, I've, for whatever reason, I put them about that size. The water moisture is going to cook out of the celery, and the onions are just going to give it a little background flavor. I'm still working on fine-tuning this, however. That flame is up a little higher than I want to do it. I'll tell you, when we get to these crackers, the main thing is if you really wanted to even store by some salsa and stuff like that, and you wanted to have something to give it some jump and uniqueness and stuff, I'll tell you, these French bread croutons are fantastic. All right, we've got our tomatoes over here. We've got the celery and onions sweating. I guess what we'll do is get our eggplant together. My mother leaves the skin on the eggplant. For whatever reason, I take it off. I'm not big on the eggplant skin, but it helps keep the eggplant together. Get out of there, you nasty little boy. Yeah, if you leave the skin on, the eggplant will hang on to the skin a little more. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the skin off and just put the eggplant in later. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do.
Well, it's a little chewier with the skin on.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the eggplant skin. I'll find out it cures cancer in a couple years. They'll have that. The skin of the eggplant, it's been found. Yeah, right after here, I'm going over to meet Dr. Ruthless and Sid Vicious.
Uh-oh. Sounds like a James Bond movie.
down at the Rock, we're going to have a little hand-to-hand combat on the golf course. This is what we call the full tour over there. This is called No Holds Barred. And we got quite a group going to meet down there.
You are a golfing maniac.
That's right.
We can't believe you're golfing in this cold weather.
I know. As long as it's not windy, it's not bad. So we're moving these onions and celery along here just to kind of get them working. I've got this pan here for some eggplant. We're going to fry that eggplant off, and this is for the garlic croutons. This is some clarified butter. You can use some olive oil. You know, it just doesn't matter. I like the flavor that butter gives. And, you know, you're probably not going to take the time at home to start clarifying butter, but we do that around here. All right, the eggplant. I'm going to cut this. This is just an arbitrary, there's no recipe here. I'm just cutting this to where I think it's going to work. Where after I cook it in with this, it's kind of a stew, really. You know, we're just going to marry this stuff up together, and we're going to boil it down, and finally when it's, whatever's left over, it's kind of that stewy-like consistency.
And then you cube each slice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna get it some nice little pieces here. Maybe start making them smaller.
Because the slices are getting bigger.
Right, right. Yeah, it's really a nice dish. It's got a sweet and sourness to it.
What's nice is its versatility, too.
Yeah.
And it's an hors d'oeuvre. It can be an appetizer.
Throw it on a sandwich.
Sure.
You know, you can do a lot with it. Alrighty, we've got the eggplant ready to rock and roll here. But first, I want to get the rest of the ingredients into the dish. I've got some capers here. I've got some tomato paste, some olives, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of vinegar, and I guess I'll add a little salt. I've got some oil. It's got an oily consistency to it. I'm cooking with some soy oil here to sear off the eggplant, and the eggplant's going to absorb a lot of that. And after we're through with the dish and we want to finish it off, I'm going to use a little nice virgin olive oil to finish it off. So first I'm going to add a little water. The reason we're adding water is that it's got to cook for a while to get these the celery softened and get the ingredients married.
Right.
So while we're reducing that, you know, you just don't want it to be total gum. You need some play. You need somewhere to go with the dish. So by adding water, that's going to, you know, give us a little time to get all the ingredients where we want it. I'm going to add the tomatoes twice. I'll take a look at it in a little while and see if we need any more tomato. You can always add a little more in quickly at the end. Going to add some capers in there. Going to put a little sugar. Not too much. A pinch more. I got some nice red wine vinegar here. Okay. Guess I'll put that back over here. Now I'm getting this pan very hot for the eggplant, and like I have already said, I'm gonna stir this up a little bit.
Nice holiday colors.
Nice holiday colors.
Yeah,
that's
there
right.
you go.
That looks like plenty of tomato. We may have to add a little more water to that because it is going to reduce. There we go. And I'll take a couple of these pits out of these olives. And I'm going to catch the high school football game tomorrow. Morris Knowles Livingston. Knowles was knocked out of the playoffs by Elizabeth. You know, these city schools are big, I guess, you know. They had some kid playing for him, you know, some guy carrying the ball named Godzilla or something, you know. 10,000 pounds and 8 feet tall, you know. Eating a hamburger while he's carrying the ball, you know, that kind of thing. Running over us, so, you know, what are you going to do with that, right? But Knowles had a good year under the direction of Mr. Bill Regan. Boy, he's had some success with that program, I'll tell you. Very intense, well prepared, you know. That means a lot. How are we doing over there? It's starting to come to a boil. Yeah, we're just going to boil it along and turn it down. We're not going to have it on a real rapid boil the whole time.
Okay.
And all the stuff is going to just cook together.
It'll simmer, and as it simmers, that will get thicker.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah, baby. Yeah, the holidays are upon us. It's hard to believe. I can't believe how many places had Christmas decorations up before Thanksgiving. It's hard for me to believe.
Yeah, I know.
It's shocking. Deck balls and, you know.
Into the next holiday.
I'm just getting out of my Bermuda shorts, and these guys are dang balls.
Well, you'll be able to buy Bermuda shorts pretty quickly again, because then cruise wear comes out. Of course,
Yeah,
no golfing in the snow, Dan. I have to tell you that.
I guess I could put some of this oil in
They
here.
don't let you do that.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's been done before, you know. You can't be in the blinding snowstorm, but a few flurries never hurt anybody. All right, we got the olives in here. I guess the pan's hot enough to get our little eggplants going. So we're just going to sear this off, brown it a little bit, score it up. And I'm going to wait a while, and when this reduces a little bit more, I'm going to add the eggplant in for reasons that I told you before. See, look at how the eggplant absorbed all that oil.
Yeah.
I knew I had enough to begin with. I'll add a little of this butter and oil combination to it. Any excess I'll get rid of. You can see it's browning a little bit in spots, right?
Yeah, I was going to say it's actually browning a lot faster than I thought it would.
Right, right. The main thing is getting the pan that hot. So even here, I can see that before the celery gets to where I want to get it, I'm going to possibly even need some more water. So we'll just simmer it slowly, you know, but I'm going to wait before I put that eggplant in, you know? You know?
You know?
So I guess while that's searing off a little bit, I can start working on these tomatoes. Another piece of olive.
And now this is for the bruschetta?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We took that skin off before. See how easy that's going to come off now?
Oh, that's great.
Can you stir those possibly?
Sure.
Yeah, whip them around for a second. Beat them up.
Oh, what a nice golden color. Beautiful.
Be careful, Dan. She may take over on you.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that. I go, what the heck? I'm going right out the side door here. Man, oh man. Then again, I'll head to Florida. I know who's going to take over.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
How are we sitting here?
It's looking good.
That's looking pretty good. You know, we don't want to break it down totally. We just want to cook it off a little. They got the big shootout going on down at Peace Pipe tomorrow, Greg? They got the big soiree down there, the scramble. Yeah, I can see my father-in-law wants to start getting involved in that thing. He just started playing golf, very competitive. Let's see, I'm going to take some of this excess oil, because like I said, we're going to add oil later on to that nicer virgin olive oil.
How's your son doing, by the way?
Oh, he's loving it, I'll tell you. He's having a good old time for himself. What's not to like? I didn't even know what a wood or an iron was until I was about 16. This kid's knocking him on the green. He's 12. Where are we going with that, huh? Yeah, he seems to like it. All right, so like I said, we've got the eggplant, and we're going to wait a little while and let that thicken up a little more. Get the flavors married, the capers, the olives, the onions, the celeries, the sugar, the vinegar, and the tomato. Okay, let me finish these tomatoes. Alrighty, I've taken the tomatoes, I've taken the skin off them, I quartered them, and I worked the seeds out with my fingers, and I've chopped it, you know, not real finely, and not, you know, somewhere in between. You got some nice little pieces there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take maybe half of the water out.
Wow.
In this strainer. If I leave all the water in, it's very, very watery. You don't want to take it all out. You're never going to take it all out.
No.
But these things are 80% or 90% water. But I just want to get some of the water out of there, and then we can let the olive oil be more of the moisturizing agent. All right, so we have our tomato in there. I'm going to take a little roasted garlic. This is a little more mellow than, you know, whole garlic. I'm going to try a little roasted garlic here. I like it. I like that. Now put in our little garlic press. Squeeze some of that into there. And I feel like this way you can put more garlic in without having the dish be that sharp. Let me try it again here, see if I can maximize. And this is, like I said, I'm doing this by eye. You put as much or as little in as you like. I think we could use a little bit more there.
Oh, sure.
Put a couple more cloves in. Let's try it again. There we go. I think we just about got that. I'm going to put a little bit of wine vinegar in. I don't want a ton here. Just to get a little in there to give this thing a little zip. Got some basil leaf. You know, and once again, you can do anything you want. You don't have to have, you know, I think the garlic is pretty necessary. The tomatoes, of course, are necessary.
Yeah. Well, the roasted garlic gives it a nice, smooth kind of a flavor.
Right. And, you know, you can package this up, maybe garnish it with a basil leaf on the top. I chopped that pretty. Let me chop it just a little bit more. I think this is enough basil.
Essence of basil.
Essence of basil. Got a little Bermuda onion here. I like the way the Bermuda onion works with this. Gives it a nice little zipperoo. Take a few slices of this off as thinly as possible. Let me mince this up. Move that so we can see what we're doing. Yeah, I like the way this Bermuda onion gives a few of these types of salads. I guess guess that's fine enough. We add that in. Not that much more. I don't want to go crazy with it. All right, and over here I've got I got a little white pepper here. I could have used black or white pepper in here. Just pinching it by eye. Got some salt. And then I'm going to add a little of this nice extra virgin topo olive oil. I'm going to put a little bit of this in, stir it up, and just see if I need some more. I don't want to overdo it right at the beginning.
Okay.
Let me find one of my little spoons over here. Let's mix this up. And this is good to make the day before. You know, you can marinate overnight. Get all the ingredients blended. And of course, what you want to do is taste it. It's the salt and the pepper. You know, you want to add them twice. You know, if you add too much to begin with, you can't get it back out again. And that's our tomato bruschetta. I think I could put a tad more olive oil in there. Just a little more of this crazy green stuff. And there we have that. So here's one leg of the of the journey. We have the caponata working over here. You can see that's thickening up. I've added a little more water to that. And here we have our butter, which I've managed to practically burn, getting ready for our little garlic toast. These are the main things that I would like you to have. Even if you went and got some of this caponata store-bought or this bruschetta or just grab some salsa or something else, to get a loaf of this, not that glommy Italian bread where it's too crusty, but you get something with a little slightly lighter consistency like that and a little narrower, you know, because you don't want somebody spreading a hunk of stuff on a piece of bread this big, you know. So all we're going to do is cut off a few discs here, somewhere like that. You know, you don't want them too thin, you don't want them too glommy and thick either. If you're not sure, I would say keep them slightly on the thinner side. But these are great, I'm telling you. You get a little oil in the pan there, and you get a few of these croutons going. I'll turn it up. And you don't need to cook them that long. They're going to crisp up real nicely for you. Just get them in and out.
No, I like the way you do these. I like the way you toast them up, because unlike some of the, some of the bread, you go to eat it, and you've got these crumbs and everything.
Right,
they're
very brittle.
It's so hard. It's brittle.
Breaking your teeth, the whole drill. But all right, I got a little something here to catch the oil with. Let me see if the butter is hot enough yet. Yeah, I'd say so. We're just going to toss them in. And this again is something you can do the day before. Just don't refrigerate them.
Oh, these can be done the day before as well?
Yeah, right. Just have them ready. You can do these a couple days before. So we missed it for Thanksgiving, but we can do this for Christmas. I guess I need a little fork here or something. Always prepared here, Uncle Dan. So we want to turn them over. Just brown them lightly. If you're not sure, they're done, because these will crisp up nicely. They don't take too long at all.
No, they don't take long at all.
Right. And the main thing is you get one side done, and it'll be fine.
A few seconds, and they're this nice golden color already.
Right.
That's good.
So I guess we'll scoop these out. These are croutons. That's all they are, is croutons. And I'll tell you, even if your guests don't like the caponata or the bruschetta or the wild mushrooms, if you did that, they'll just eat the toast. I mean it, it's very, very good. All right, so what we're going to do with the toast, so I've got a little bowl here. Sometimes people use a brown paper bag, and while they're still hot, I'm going to take a little granulated garlic, spread that over it, a little bit of salt, and I like to take some parsley because the parsley will cling then. And we're just going to mix them up a little bit. Just toss it around and just let them sit. Just get them coated with the salt and the garlic and the parsley. You can see the parsley's clinging a little bit. And they're nice and these things are light. They're airy and they're light, okay? And that's about that. Alrighty, to finish our little adventure up, I'm going to add the eggplant. I think a lot of this stuff has been softened. You can see the celery there. It's breaking down a little bit.
Yeah.
Everything's starting to thicken up a little bit. I might add a hair more water to this because it's, but we do want it to have it very thick because when it cools, this is something we're going to be spreading on a cracker, you know? So we're going to add our eggplant in.
And the eggplant will get considerably softer.
Softer and smaller as it's losing its moisture. So, let me show you what it looks like over here. I just happen to have some handy. It looks like, it looks very oily. You can skim a lot of that oil off. You can see you've got, you know, the capers and olives and celery and eggplant pieces are all in there. And this is something you can take a little teaspoon and spread it on one of these crackers and away we go. Here's our bruschetta mix once again. And you know what I've done with this in the past? I've taken some hot cherry peppers, chopped them up real finely, and sauteed them off. And you add those in. You don't want to, you know, make it totally hot unless your gang is into that. But you add a little heat to this thing, and those hot cherry peppers, when they're cooked off and you smooth them out, they give a nice soft heat. You know, it's not like you put Tabasco in it or hot pepper flakes or something like that. You know, you can really, really give this thing, talk about kicking it up a notch. It's really good, you know. So there we have it.
Hi, well here we are again in Dan's dining room, and it doesn't look like we did a whole lot in the kitchen,
Right.
even though we
come up with a few
did.
crackers at the end of this whole show. That's what we got left, a few crackers here, Janet, right. Which half do you want? Yeah, we've got our tomato bruschetta, the garlic croutons we made, and once again, just if you're going to buy any of this stuff store-bought, but make the crackers, as opposed to making the caponata and the tomato bruschetta and buying the crackers, I would do the opposite, because the crackers really make the whole thing. And remember, too, we could have cooked a piece of beef off if we did have time and, you know, sliced it thin, chilled, a little dill, horseradish, mayonnaise on it. But on these crackers, it makes the whole thing, you know. And we've got our caponata, that mix of olives and eggplant and celery and tomato, onion, and all that good stuff.
Right.
It's kind of a stewy type thing, but it goes great with these crackers, and it's really nice room temperature.
Okay, well thank you again for joining us this evening. My name is Janet Rapasardi-Hoff. We'll see you again next week, and we're going to partake.
Yeah, baby.
Ciao.